So a data frame is a two-dimensional labeled data. Directly I'm putting data frame is a two-dimensional labeled data structure in pandas representing a rectangular data set. Okay, so now let's create a data frame. So how do we create? Let me say df1. This is a first data frame, and I'll say pd dot I want to create a data frame, so I'll use a data frame method, and inside I'm gonna give key value pairs. Inside this I'm gonna give key value pair, so name, and the name list I'll give. First one is Krish, then Shiv, then Rama. Okay, this is our first key value pair, and similarly I'm gonna give second one. So age, a list of okay, yep, this is what is my two key value pairs I have mentioned in this. I'm gonna add one more, so this time I'm gonna add gender. So here I'll take one more so that I can add so here instead of Krish, I'll take Radhe. Yep, and I'm gonna add one more key value pair here. So this time I'm gonna say gender, a list of female comma male comma male. Again, done. So my df1 is ready. That's it. Here is your data frame, and you can clearly see that rectangular data, that a data that has been represented in rectangular format. So for to do that, we have a data frame object in Python pandas library that you can see on your screen now at this moment. Okay, so this is what is called as a data frame. This complete object, this complete method is called a data frame. Just let's see the type. So type of df1 is a data frame object. This is a data frame is a Python object. Okay, so now let's look into the second one, a series. So what does a series means in this? A series, a series, a one-dimensional labeled data structure, one-dimensional labeled data structure in pandas. That's it. It's just a one-dimensional. Okay, let me show you. Okay, I'll represent. So representing a single column or a row of a data frame. So either a single column, it's representing a single column or row of a data frame. So as we know, let me show you the so df1 dot shape It's a 3 by 3. You can see that it's a two dimensions. One you have rows, other one you have columns. That's it, nothing much. You do not have a number of matrices. Then it will become a three dimension. At this moment it's a two dimension. So when you convert a two dimension into single dimension, then that's what we call it as a series. This one, it could be either a row or a column, whichever is called as a series. So what I'll do is I'll just take as ages, and then in that, so my df1 and age. So I'll call this, and so this is my series. Okay, if you take it like this, so at this moment let me check the shape of it. 3 comma 1, this is single. Okay, so if you want to create a series in using Python pandas, so what we can do is we can directly say ages1 is equals to, so I'll take pandas and I'll use a series object, series method. In series method I'm gonna give a list of values to be added. That is the first argument. So 25, 43 and 29, and the label of this series would be given as keyword argument, that's age, and ages 1, and this is what you got, and type of ages 1 is series, it's directly series, and type of ages is again a series. So this is ages 1 that we have created is a series, and this one I have indexed only age column or age column, so that is also a series. So this is what we called as a series. Okay, so now the crux of the matter, that's our index. So the index, so index is nothing but a sequence of labels for the rows or columns of a data frame or series. That's it. It could be a data frame or it could be a series. It's a label, it's labels for them. So that's a sequence of labels is called as index. Let's add an index. Let's add an index. Okay, for that let me uh, take any data, and inside that data I will select one of the column inside that header as the index column. So let me do that. So which data this time I'm gonna take, let me check, let me scroll up and I'll find out the recent one. Is mobile not useful, ratings, players, headers, customer ID, month. Okay, let me check the customer ID. Yep, this is that data. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recall this data again. So I think this is customer segmentation data, pd dot read csv, and inside that I'm gonna give the customer segmentation. So how do you need to read? The customer ID should be uh, your index column. So index column should be my customer ID. Okay, this hasn't been read. Let me copy this from here and paste it here and execute. Now let's see cost, and here is your customer ID is the index. That's what I'll make it. And this is cust from customer ID cust1, and your customer ID has been changed as index. That's how we do that. Okay, so then we have LOC, one more method. So LOC is a label based indexing. LOC is a label based indexing method in pandas for selecting rows and columns by label or boolean mask. So simply we'll take one example. So for example, if you have a data frame df1, that's our data frame. In this I'll say df1 dot loc, then I'll put indexing symbol, so our selection bracket df of age this is basically an SQL query. Okay, this is an SQL query. So if it is 30 greater than 30, then name. Okay, so what we are saying is select names of people over 30 years old. So that's what we are saying. So let me change it here. Of course, all are greater than 30 years old. So these are LOC. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it to some other number. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now you got Shiv and Ram. Radha is younger than all of this. So Shiva and Rama are the older. So that's the reason Radha was missed. And this is how we use this to filter it out. And then we have ILOC. So, and this one ILOC is an integer based indexing method in pandas for selecting rows and columns by integer position. That's what, or boolean mask, whichever the way. So let's take one small example quickly. Here positioning is very important. Let me take df1 again, and df1, and this time df1 need to take a method ILOC, and inside that 1, 2, 3, and second one till 2. So here what will happen, it's gonna select rows from 1 to 2 and columns 0 to 1. That's what it's gonna do. So let me write down here. So it's gonna select rows from 1 to 2 and columns from 0 to 1. Execute, and here is the magic. You got your data frame exactly. So whichever, so you got the row 1, so this one, row 1, and then row 2, obviously 3, this is 0, so 3 obviously will be excluded, and you want the columns from 0 to 1. So sorry, Yep, columns from 0 to 1. You got 0, you got the 1 and 2, these two rows, and then name and age. These are the first two columns has been filtered out using iLock. So lock and iLock. iLock is position based filtering. Lock is any logical based filtering. So now let's look into the group by. 6, group by. So a group by, a function in pandas. A group by is a function or method in pandas for grouping a data frame by one or more columns and applying a function to each group. That's what is our group by. So now let's do that. Let's group by. So tf1 and use group by, group by. Okay, use group by, and what all you want to group it. The first one is gender, that's one, and so I want to group by gender with using age, and what I want, and I want an aggregate of mean. So what I'm doing is I want to calculate the mean age by gender. So here the grouping by gender with a value of age, with the values of age. Okay, so I will get a mean of age based on the category gender. So I'll get mean age for men and mean age for female. That's what we'll get it there. So let's calculate the mean age by gender. Execute, and here is that. It's grouped by category of gender with aggregation of age. So aggregation of age took place at the level of gender, and the parameter that we used, the method that we used is mean. So female is this aggregated age, and then men is this, female and male. So that's what is our group by. So next we will be looking into the merge. So merge function in pandas for combining two or more data frames by a common column or set of columns. So let's take two data frames and let's try to merge them. So df1 anyway we have, but still let's create let's take dfa and dfb. So data frame, and inside that I'm gonna add key value pairs of two arguments. That's first one is id. So list of items 1 comma 2 comma 3. Let's make it simple. So IDs with 1 comma 2 comma 3 is our first data frame, and then names, obviously I'll go with Narayana. Let me wrap them. Narayanan. Let me wrap them into single quotation. Then Madhava. Then Keshava. Okay. So this is our DPA is ready. So, sorry, DFA data frame A is ready. Yeah, this is what is that. And let me make it DFB. So let me copy paste and do the minor changes. So data frame reference would be DFB. So I'll add it as a 2 3 4. So 2 3 and 4 here, and here I'm gonna add a salary. So that's what I want to. So this is 1 2 3 4, these are the IDs, and at one table you have name, on another table you will have a salaries, and I just want to have a combined table where the two will have their name as well as salary. That's what I want. Let's see how it goes. So this is a salary table, and other table is name table, and let me add the salaries here. I'll put it as 453, and yeah, that's it. So this is DFB, and here is your salary table. So now you got the two data frames. One data frame consists of salaries, other consists of names with an ID. So now to merge them, so to have a merged table, or it'll say combine or cumulative, a cum, and then I'll say pd dot merge. So merging of two data frames, simple. I have to get two data frame, DFA, and the second is DFB, and finally on which I want to merge it based on ID. And let me check, here is your merging. So of course uh, on ID it got matched. So you got ID2 ID3, because ID1 is not matching in both, so it's not there. So that's because of that it got excluded. So 2 and 3 you have, so the both has been merged and brought into the same one. So now at the same time, yep. So that's it, that's your merge. And then if you want to have a pivot a table, you can have a pivot table too. Next we will have a pivot table 8. Let's make a pivot table. So a pivot table, a function in pandas for creating spreadsheet style pivot table from a data frame. So pd dot pivot table, and I'm gonna give arguments df. So values, I'm gonna go with the salary, salary. So let me cross check before df. Oh sorry, it's df1. Yep. No, but df, I don't have salaries. Let me create the one aggregate. So how do we do that? You have to select a data frame whichever you have, and then out of that you have to select respective, so values, and then index. What do you want to, which one you want as a values and which one you want as an index. I want it as a gender. Okay, here I'll put it as age, values, and after that I'm gonna go for the columns department if you have one. So I do not have, but still. So which aggregate function you want to use? So I want to use an aggregate function of main. Let me, sorry, aggregate function as yep, main. obviously you'll get an error because I do not have a table with this one. That's okay. This is what is the uh, structure of pivot table. So pivot table, you have to mention the values of first data frame, and then inside the data frame which column you want to use as a values, and index which one you will take as index, and columns is department, then aggregate function you have to mention. Next, so we'll go into the reshape. So reshape a set of functions in pandas for transforming a data frame from long to wide format or vice versa. We have done it in intuitive pandas for you course. I would request you to go and watch there. And as we have discussed, you have merge versus join. This you need to understand. So in pandas, merge is equivalent to SQL's join. Merge is equivalent to SQL's SQL's join. So while join is a method on a data frame that combines two data frames on their indexes. So this is what and uh, some of the techniques that we use to work on uh, data frames and their tools. Now what will we do is